This defendant found himself in a sticky situation where he only could be mad at himself. He hit his girlfriend at the Baymont Hotel, and now he's stuck in jail at the mercy of Judge Lau. The $3,000 bond that he received, he would think twice before hitting another girl again. Let's sit back and enjoy.
I am currently pregnant, so yes.
Okay. And do y'all still live at the Baymont Hotel?
Right now, I'm at my mom's house.
Marshall accused of simple battery, giving false information to an officer, and willful obstruction of an officer from January 20th of this year. Mr. Marshall, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Mr. McLean. Any priors, Ms. Harvey?
Yes, Your Honor. 12 cycles. Last arrest was December 9th, 2024, out of DeKalb County for probation violation. On probation out of DeKalb for robbery. Sentenced in 2023, 10 years total, 3 years confinement and 7 years on probation. Also on probation out of Richmond County for 2 counts of criminal street gang activity. Sentenced in 2019, 10 years total with 2 years confinement, remainder on probation. A 2024 conviction for forgery and theft by receiving stolen property, 1 FTA and 2 probation violations in the past 10 years, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. McCarthy?
Your Honor, this incident occurred at the Baymont Hotel at 2451 Old National Parkway in College Park. The victim in this case is Lakeisha Bates. The defendant is accused of punching the victim in the face. He did admit to officers that he did so, and the assault was also caught on CCTV. When officers asked the defendant for his identifying information, he gave the false name of Jacory Favors and the false date of birth of September 18th, 2002. He then refused to get in the officer's patrol vehicle, and it took several officers to finally get him inside. He currently has a $2,160 surety bond. We ask that his bond be no lower than the amount that it currently is. No further contact with Lakeisha Bates. Stay away from the incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for Miss Lakeisha Bates.
Ms. Bates, if Lakeisha Bates, I do see her, but if you want to contribute to the proceeding, you need to unmute and start your video. All right. Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, Mr. Marshall is 24 years old. He's working on a GSU degree, Georgia State. So he's currently a Panther. Your Honor, he acknowledges the problem here with this case. He was very forthright with the officers initially in that admission to them. He has spoken with his probation officer on the cases that were mentioned in his arrest record. Your Honor, he has about 5 years and 2 months to go on that DeKalb case. And thank goodness he only has 2 years of probation left to go on the other case. So he's spoken with his probation officer about this situation, and they have decided not to put a probation hold on him and to let this be litigated without their doing anything yet, or maybe at all if he's lucky. He is remorseful and would ask the court to consider a signature bond. He has I talked to his mother about whether they were making the bond right now, and it turned out that her pipes were completely burst and she won't be able to help, and that's going to be a real problem financially. So we would ask the court to set that bond as low as possible, signature bond if at all possible. He is already under supervision by somebody who has considered this. Thank you.
Right. Ms. Bates, did you want to add to the proceeding?
I'd like to no longer prosecute.
Raise your right hand. Other right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right. Face the window so the light shines on you. Otherwise, I can only see your silhouette. Thank you. And the decision to prosecute this case is not in your hands. It's in the hands of the prosecutor. So
Okay.
you don't have the decision-making ability to drop any charges. But do you want to have contact with Mr. Marshall?
I am currently pregnant, so yes.
Okay. And do y'all still live at the Baymont Hotel?
Right now, I'm at my mom's house.
Okay, well, he cannot return to the Baymont Hotel, so that's my concern. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Marshall, on the simple battery is going to be $1,000 surety bond. On giving false information and willful obstruction, those are going to be $1,000 each, and that's going to be a signature bond through pretrial level 2, which means you have a $3,000 split bond. No further violent contact with Miss Nakisha Bates, which means you can have communication with her, but there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations. Otherwise, you'll be back in jail. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and you'll be subject to random screens by pretrial for illegal drugs and or alcohol. Also, within 30 days of being released, you have to do two things. First thing is you have to update the court with your new mailing address because you have to stay away from the Baymont Hotel. You're not to return to 2451 Old National Highway in College Park. And the second thing you have to do is enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and attend and complete all 26 classes at your expense without skipping or missing any classes. If you fail to enroll, if you fail to report to pretrial twice a month, or if you get arrested again, your signature bond portion will be revoked and converted to either a cash bond or no bond. Thank you. Oh, your next court date is February 4th, unless you make bond. Next, please. This is State versus Christopher Garrison, accused of reckless conduct from January 21st in case 25 CR 358G. Mr. Garrison has been advised of his rights, and his attorney is going to be Ms. Armstrong. Any priors, Ms. Harvey?
20 cycles out of Georgia and 10 cycles out of Missouri. Last arrest was November 20th, 2024 for arson out of Fulton County. That case was dismissed. There does appear to be an additional open case for criminal trespass under 24 CR 0000697G. In addition, there are convictions from 2016 for criminal trespass, 2017 robbery, 2018 simple battery, 2020 disorderly conduct, 2 counts of simple battery from 2020, and 2 counts of
That was good. Thank you so much, Ms. Harvey. Ms. McKay?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 610 Spring Street Northwest in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Alicia Alibi. The defendant is accused of starting a brush fire at the location. Elizabeth Garcia Hurtado was a witness to this incident and told officers that she saw him do it. The defendant did admit to starting the fire and said that he started it so he could warm his hands. Our office has spoken to Ms. Alibi. She stated that she's one of the business owners at this location. This has been an ongoing problem with the defendant for years. He's always harassing the staff and also the customers. He throws rocks at them and throws them at their cars. He curses and yells at them. She states that when the defendant started the fire, it spread so quickly that her and other staff had to run outside with buckets of water to try to put it out. They, of course, want no contact and want him to stay away from the property. He currently has a $2,000 surety bond. We are asking that that remain the same, that he stay away from the incident location, have no further contact with this victim, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Ms. Armstrong?
Yes, Judge, thank you. We're asking for a signature bond in this matter if possible, or a bond no more than $1,000 in this matter. Mr. Garrison reports being homeless, and he was trying to stay warm. Thank you.
I understand the reasons for staying warm. Unfortunately, allegedly starting a fire in a public place. And considering that Mr. Garrison was recently arrested for arson, although dismissed, this gives me great pause as to whether he engages in the practice of starting fires in a public place, even if it's just to stay warm. Mr. Garrison, your bond is going to be $2,000 surety bond. You are to stay 200 yards away from the location at 610 Spring Street. You presently also have a bench warrant in another case, 24 CR 000697G, where a bench warrant was issued by Judge Mather. Thank you. Next court date is February 4th.
No. Your next court date is February 4th. Next, Your Honor, we could go to position number 2, Mr. Avant.
And Ms. Armstrong, any priors, please?
Yes, Your Honor. 2 cycles out of Georgia and 4 out of New York. Last arrest was December 7th, 2024, Queens, New York, for assault in the 3rd degree. That appears to be an open case. Also appears to have 2 open cases out of Fulton County for simple battery, family violence. Bench warrants were issued for those cases, Your Honor. There are case numbers 18 CR 008969B and 18 CR 008964B, and nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Mulcahy?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at 585 Ira Street, Southwest in Atlanta. The victim in this case is Miss Michelle Burt. The defendant is accused of entering and remaining in Miss Burt's RV with another unknown individual. He is also accused of damaging the window to the RV. We have spoken with Miss Burt. She states that she doesn't know the defendant and never gave him permission to enter her RV. She confirmed the events in the warrant, stated that the RV is placed in her neighborhood down the street from where she lives. She has had to get the RV towed to get it fixed, and she would like no contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the incident location. The state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond. Given his history and his recent FTA, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for Miss Michelle Burt.
Ms. Michelle Birch, if you want to contribute to the proceeding, this is the time to unmute and start your video. I see a Michelle's iPhone, but I don't know if it's the same person. All right, Mr. McLean? Oh, Ms. Armstrong, excuse me.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Abrams is unemployed. He reports having trouble with housing at this time, I apologize. It would ask for a signature bond. Thank you.
On each count, it will be $500 for a total of $1,000 surety. Next court date is February 4th, 2025. And we will reset him with his 2 other cases. And I know Ms. Harvey had just given them to me and I scribbled them somewhere. Here they are. Ready, Ms. Grace? And that would be
Yes, ma'am.
18 CR 008969B, 18 CR 008964B. No contact with Michelle Birch and stay away from the incident location. Thank you. You have $1,000 surety bond. Stay away and no contact.
Your Honor, can you repeat that? He's not understanding.
All right, Mr. Abrams, you do not qualify for a signature bond. You received a surety or good bond, and you would have to pay for your bond through a bonding company or out of your own pocket. Your bond at the present time is $1,000. If you go through a bonding company, they can charge as low as $100 or up to $150 to be released. Your next court date is going to be February 4th, 2024 at 9 a.m. And we will address not only this new case,